What's up, y'all? It's your girl Portia on a Journey, back with another dope freaking video, no pun intended. It's been another long ass minute since I've uploaded, which brings me to my next point. Make sure you guys are subscribed and turn on your bell notifications so it lets you know whenever I upload. It's not on a schedule and you don't want to miss any of these videos, okay? So you can tell in the title that we're doing another story time. Life just keep knocking me upside my head, y'all, but I'm not gonna let that be the reason that I don't upload, because I got a purpose. I want to share my experiences with y'all so y'all can see that it's another way out from addiction, mental health issues, whatever it is that you might be facing in life. I'm a prime example that you can get through and you can get past. Now, I have a recent experience that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. I know I said in other videos that I was going through like a little situation. Your girl is free, so I will be sharing a video in the future talking about the whole court case, like lay it all out. But for now, we're going to jump right into this story time. We're talking about just a little fight that happened, if you even want to call it that. I definitely ended up with some scratches and some bruises. Yeah, I felt that. So anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead and call it a fight. So let's lay out the characters. Y'all know I got to give you like a little bit of a backstory. If any of you have seen my very first upload, I think this was like maybe 2 years ago, something like that. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna link it in the description box below so you can go check that out. But it's telling you about the first time your girl smoked crack, okay? Everybody, if you are new to the channel, hello, my name is Portia. I used to be a drug addict. Not just this drug, not just that drug. Several drugs for several years, and I'm clean and sober today. However, I am sharing my experiences so that you guys out there can see that, yes, you can come from that. So anyway, I did talk about the time I smoked crack. And there was a particular guy that I talked about in that video. I don't think I gave him a name. If so, if not, I'm going to give him a name today, and we're going to stick to that name so that you guys can kind of like piece together the timeline, the storyline. Y'all can just kind of know who is what and what is what. Okay. I thought about it over and over again. Like, I wanted to call him crazy because in my mind, dude is a nut. Like, and I don't mean like not in a I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but dude is a nut. Let's just point that out. He's definitely crazy. He definitely made me feel like I was going crazy. I think at one point I was going crazy. Yeah, so I really wanted to name him Crazy, but I said, I met a lot of crazy people. I'm gonna save that name. I thought about Nip. I thought about Nip because he's a manipulator. He's top-notch, top-tier manipulator. Crazy, manipulator, put them together, you got this kid, okay? Another name that stood out to me for a manipulator was Manny. So y'all let me know in the comments, do y'all think I should stick with Manny or should I stick with Nip? Until I get some feedback from y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Manny because I think that's a pretty good fit. Let me describe him. This is a tall white guy, pretty built. Yeah, that's as much as I can describe him as. Almost like a John Cena type of look. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But almost like that type of look. So we got Manny. Fast forward, in the other story time, I talked about how I met this guy, Manny, and we were hanging out for like 2 weeks straight, nonstop. Like I hadn't even been home, just getting high. He had introduced me to crack. I was at that point in life kicking it with Manny. We end up, like I told you guys, we were out of town for a couple of weeks. We ended up coming back home. During that 2 weeks, I saw that he had a female on the front of his phone. His phone was off, but he carried around the phone, I guess for phone numbers, or if he was around Wi-Fi, I don't know. Whatever crazy ass reason people keep their phones when it's not turned on and they spend money on drugs instead of paying the phone bill. That was him, and that's where we was at in life. So yeah, I always saw his phone because he always had to use my phone. Now at first, I'm just meeting this guy. I really didn't want to ask too many questions, but at the same time, like, I've ran across lots of issues with women and their men. So I did ask in the very beginning, like, oh, you single? Boom. That was cool. Fast forward, I see this female on the front of his phone, and I'm thinking to myself, what is that about? What's up? Like, what is this female? Like, I know he told me he was single, and I don't want to, like, at first, usually I wouldn't assume. It could be his sister, it could be his mom, it could be cousin, it could be a lot of people that's on that phone. This was a black female. This is a white man. Okay, he did show me a picture of his child. He has a mixed race child, so I was like, well, maybe it's the child's mother. I don't know. The man told me he was single, but why is her picture on the front of his phone? Like, It was really starting to bother me, but I kept it to myself for a little while because I just didn't want to assume it was this, it was that, and it probably wasn't nothing. I guess he saw, I don't know if he saw me looking at his phone one time when he was like pulling it out. He looked at me and he just started venting. He just really started venting to me about his son, about his living situation, just about a bunch of things. And he quickly got to a female that he was dating.
Yeah, I was dating this girl, and I mean, we was living together. I was paying for this, I was paying for that.
Dude had a little bit of money. So everything he was saying, it sounded like Bible to me. It sounded like this man is credible. Everybody around him is like acting like he's God, like they want to bow down to him. I have no reason to not believe him. So he's telling me,
I'm paying for this, I'm paying for that.
this girl, what are we going to call her? Cindy? Don't ask me why. Like, this is so random when I come up with these names, but we're gonna call her Cindy. But he's like,
yeah, I'm dating this girl Cindy, and you know, she's just messing with this guy, messing with that guy, blah blah.
the typical what a guy says when they go out here and they want to do dirt to a female that they're with, but not necessarily leave the female, but make the next female think that they're innocent or they have a reason to step outside of their relationship. I'm very thankful that today, the person I am today, I'm smart enough to recognize and understand that kind of foolishness. Back then, whatever, back then. He's telling me all these sweet nothings, basically. How she just wasn't a good girlfriend to him, and he just bent over backwards and gave her the world. He tells me that they broke up, and that's why he had started living in the place that he found me at. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not about to recap it. Like, go watch the other video. I promise you, you're gonna like it. Fast forward, we come back from out of town. He starts doing this, like, disappearing, but he would still pop up here and there, and then there were random times where he would disappear. But he would tell me, stay here. He would give me money, he would give me drugs, he would make sure I had food. He would just make sure I was straight. But when he would come back around, he would just tell me that he had to go see his mom, his dad, to go make sure his money was straight. Just a bunch of different I gotta take care of shit type of stuff. So whatever little BS story he was telling me, I would believe it. And then one of the homies, he saw me walking and he was like,
where Manny at?
And I was like, oh, I don't know. I haven't seen him since last night, which was odd to me. I was wondering where Manny was at too. It's been about a month in at this point. Homeboy starts laughing. He like,
oh yeah, Manny must be with his girl.
So I'm looking like, with his girl? I'm right here. What did you talk about? His girl? I'm right here, homie. So silly. That's how I felt, like delusional as hell. I'm surprised because nobody had ever mentioned to me that he had a girlfriend. He mentioned to me that he had a girlfriend, past tense, and that they had broken up. And based off of the way we were moving, that was very, very credible and believable to me. I don't know. I maybe I was tripping. I don't know. Come to find out, where he had me staying, aka where he was staying, was like walking distance to where he used to live with his girlfriend. I didn't know this at the time. When homie told me that, I took the info in, and I was definitely ready to see him so that I could dig in that ass. I just was like, okay, let me talk to him first. I want to talk to Manny first before I start assuming this and assuming that. Later on that day, maybe like within an hour, he pops back up. He's back around. So I asked him, I'm like, Manny, so what's up with you having a girlfriend? Like, you and that girl, y'all still together, you and Cindy? Manny's like,
no, I was just about to talk to you about that. I had to go over there and deal with her.
He told me some crazy toxic ass story about her using the drugs that he was using, but being secretive about it. Something about in the midst of an argument between himself and Cindy when they were together. I don't know, he broke a TV or something, and he had to pay her back. I don't know, but he claimed that he was busy all morning dealing with that situation. He also said that it wasn't true, that she was just bitter because she knew that he was dealing with me now. I didn't even know who Cindy was. Like, I get it. A lot of people in the area did know who she was, but me personally, I did not. I heard her name maybe once or twice, but now that me and him were dealing with each other, I heard her name quite often because everybody was always asking me like, oh, Manny must have broke up with Cindy because, you know, he dealing with you. And I'd be like, okay, I think so. that better be the case. Like, I didn't know what to say because I did not know Cindy at all. Like, I knew nothing about her. That happened. Took his word for it. You know me, my man. I'm gonna stick beside him. And that was that. Me and Manny are hanging out damn near every day. There was a little bit of like red flags, toxic behavior that I was noticing, but I was just so caught up in the lifestyle. He and I, like, because we spent so much time together, we just got extremely close. It was to the point that I was starting to know him like the back of my hand, the good, the bad, and the ugly as hell. I was noticing all this stuff about him, but the good too. And not only that, like, I was completely driven by drugs during this time. I had added a whole nother drug addiction to my roster. Like, it was just a bad time. But little did I know and realize at the time that it was going to get worse. At the time, I looked at it as a good time. He wasn't running out of money. He was always spending money on me. He made me feel special, waited on me hand and foot. He talked about plans with my child, his child. Like, we just kind of like really was in that BS stage of the beginning of like a drug-filled relationship, if you know what that is. And I was happy. The person I am today, I'm so thankful to be away from that. Nights of being up all night, just smoking and smoking and smoking. And I don't mean smoking little marijuana. I mean like smoking crack, like all night long. Can't go to sleep, scared because of nothing. Looking out the window, looking out the door, trapping yourself in to wherever you're at. You got little buddies that's smoking with you, and they just as scared as you are. Some of them, they OGs in the game, so they looking at you laughing because they know what's going on, but they don't go through that. Just a whole lot. Back then, I was very miserable, but I also considered it a good time. I don't even know how I was able to associate the two together and think they're the exact same thing. But that's just what I felt. I felt it was a good time. And I was just loving being up under him. The attention that he gave me, the kisses, the back rubs, making sure that I ate. If I needed to pee, that was about the only reason or way that I was going to have to get up and do anything for myself. And even then, he was damn near helping me go to the bathroom and get it out. Like, that's how much he waited on me hand and foot, and to the point that it became annoying. And I was just like, okay, Manny, like, I got it. Like, I can go pour my own juice. Like, I can walk outside to get a breath of fresh air without you right there behind me, like chasing me like a little puppy dog. But like, it was also the type of attention that I thought I wanted from a man. I was so used to being neglected, lied to, which I was still being lied to. I just didn't know it. A different type of man that wasn't on me like that. And I feel like even to this day, like I need a certain level of my man to be on me, just a little bit. Like, I need to know that you want to be around me, that you care about me, that you're willing to do whatever for me. And I've had a habit of getting super clingy men because I need a touch of that. I see a touch of that, I go for that guy, and then come to find out he way too clingy. And I can't live. I can't live without him, like, right there by my side. That's a mistake I've made many times in life, but I thought it was cute. We were hanging out so much, and then out of nowhere, there was this random him disappearing again. Because where we would be, where Cindy still lived, we're very, very close. Even though I couldn't even go get a glass of water on my own, he was stepping outside, walking his little way over there to Cindy's house, and he's back kicking it with Cindy. Y'all tell me in the comments, like, do y'all consider this he was just a liar? Part of me feels like he wasn't lying at first. Like, they really had broken up. They weren't dealing with each other. They were so mad with each other. Maybe they were, because I still don't know the answer to this. Maybe they were so used to just being toxic, having these big fights, breaking up, and getting back together. So maybe technically he knew that he didn't have room to be starting a whole relationship situationship. He didn't have the room to start a relationship with somebody else. Maybe he knew that. I'm not standing on that because I don't know for sure what they had going on, what they were used to. But I'm starting to think that, like, maybe he knew all along that, like, this is what y'all do. leave me out of it. It just became to the point where he was still dealing with me really heavy. He finally admits, y'all, that he's been like back dealing with Cindy a little bit, but he refuses to get back with her. They were so toxic. She was messing with this guy, that guy. He can't be with her, but he's not gonna lie to me. He's had some trouble completely separating himself. He doesn't want me to move on, saying any and everything and doing any and everything that he can to make me like still deal with him. I think that at the time I thought that I was like caught up emotionally behind him and I couldn't leave him alone. Now looking back on it, I really feel like I was driven by the drugs. I would be off doing my own thing, minding my business. Next thing you know, I need some crack and I'm sitting here looking for it, but this was my connect to it because this was a drug that I did not use before him. Next thing you know, when I wasn't thinking about him, when I wasn't trying to deal with him because I'm sick of him and Cindy's shit, here I go hitting him up. I think at some point he got his phone turned on. He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was blowing you up. Why you didn't answer me? I'm just like, dude, because you got me messed up, but I'm over at such and such and you need to come here right now. How you going to introduce this to me and then just disappear and blah, blah, blah. Me not even knowing, I'm thinking he's running to my rescue because he cares about me and he knows, oh my God, if I don't get this for Portia, she's going to be looking for it. She's going to get it from the wrong people. She's going to this. She don't have the money for it. Da, da, da. I'm thinking that this dude cares. Y'all, if you ever have gone through something like this, whether it's about drugs or whatever, like get out. Because that's what I know today. Back then, I thought he cared about me. However, the whole time, he took that as an opportunity to control me. A lot of these guys out here that introduce you to drugs or they know that you do certain drugs that they can either have access to or can like pay for it, whatever it is, they would use the drugs, they would use the money, the power, different things that these guys and women too, let's not get it twisted, they will use these things to control you and have you depending on them versus them actually loving you. They make you be with them versus you actually wanting to be with them. So y'all pay close attention to that. I don't know if it's my daddy issues, my neglect and abandonment issues. I ran into situations like that over and over again. Now, I'm so thankful to say that the one person I have my eye on, I could say that it's no control, it's none of that. It's simply the desire to be with this person, to be in this person's space. I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy the warm embraces. Like everything about that person I enjoy. Versus my past relationships, especially the one with Manny, I got to the point where I could damn near not even stand being around him. But the power, the drugs, the money, all of that stuff controlled me to the point that I felt like I needed him. He played tricks with my mind. Like he really made me think that he paid for this. He came to my rescue. He made me believe that he did those things because he cared about me. The whole time, that was his way of control. So anyway. If y'all know me, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to rant and I'm going to ramble. But back to the story. Out of nowhere, it was like I could never get Manny to leave. Even when I wasn't reaching out to him, like he was always damn near stalking me. Like he knew exactly where I would be, who I would be with. If I wasn't trying to deal with him, he was going to figure it out. Boy ain't had no car, but he was a lot to pull up and figure out where I was at, why I wasn't dealing with him. And he was going to have everything I need. Me have like no option but to be in his space, in his face. One day, I'm like completely like not checking for him. And I'm noticing that he not checking for me. He not looking for me. He not blowing my phone up. He not telling the homies to find out what I got going on. He not sending drugs through the homies because he was sending, like when he knew that he was kicking it with Cindy and he wasn't going to see me, he would get the homies to bring me some drugs. Basically to hold me over. Like in other words, I couldn't even stay mad at him because even though he wasn't right there, he still sent whatever, like he made sure they gave me food, money, whatever. The stuff that he would do if he was physically there, he would make sure that he had the homies do it. And that's just, oh my gosh, y'all, like I'm so thankful to not be in that space anymore. And not only is it bad on his part, he's controlling me, but it's bad on my part because now I'm actually more comfortable this way because I don't got to be around him. I don't have to fight and argue with him. I can simply enjoy whatever it is that he offers without even him being around. However, I wasn't completely annoyed and disturbed by him yet. I still had a thing for him. I was still attracted to him. I still didn't want him being involved with someone else. It's like that. We were at that point because it gets really, really crazy later. But nonetheless, like it was still bad on my end. The life and the mindset of an addict. I'm telling you, you don't care about nothing else but what you can get from a person, what they can do for you. That's what I cared about. So I just allow him to treat me that way, which says a lot about how I saw myself. He just really wasn't checking for me. So I started feeling some type of way. I'm like, wait a minute, like he not checking for me at all. What's going on? I stopped bothering him. One day, this girl hit me up. I was cool with her. She doesn't need a name. She's not that significant in this story, even though I appreciate you. If you ever listen to this story, you're significant to me, just not to the story, okay? She hit me up. She's looking for X, Y, and Z. I'm not around him. He's not sending little drugs through the homies and money through the homies, none of that. So I'm out here basically with a whole new habit, my old habits, and I'm trying to survive on my own, where I was so used to him taking care of everything, the financial, more than just the financial, just everything. And y'all, if you don't know how it go, it's like somebody will hit you up. They're looking for X, Y, and Z. They can't get a hold of it. They know you can get a hold of it. And you say, yeah, but I need this out of the deal. It was that type of thing. So she hits me up. She brings me the money because she's the one with the money. I'm just considered like the middleman. She's like, yeah, I got to go do this and that with my daughter, but I'm going to come back. We had a good enough rapport with one another to where she gave me the money and she dipped. She did not worry about it at all. And I had the mindset that I'm not going to dick her. I'm not going to do her wrong. Y'all, bad idea, because anything can happen with someone else's money and you're left responsible for it. And if you have no way to replace that money, it's just not a good idea to put yourself in that situation. So take that from this. Just when you think nothing can happen, things can happen. I'm getting in touch with people. I finally reached the person that she and I both were looking for, but I also have a pocket full of Xanax. My relationship with Xanax at the time was I would take a piece of Xanax to go to sleep, right? Like not even often. I was very afraid of Xanax. I knew people around the way. Some people would want some. I had good access to them. So to me, it was like the perfect way to make money. Like when it come down to it, any drug dealer out here or someone that's trying to make money, if you use the drug that you're trying to sell, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be that successful. And even if you're successful, you're not as successful as you would be if it wasn't your drug of choice. So to me, it was a win-win. I was going through something this day. I was very, very sad, depressed. I had walked my ass to one of the homies' house, and I was sitting over there just chilling. And for some reason, unlike my normal self, I'm taking these damn Xanax. And I'm just waiting to hear from the other guy that's going to take the other girl's money that I had. Y'all stay with me if you can follow this story. I'm eating these Xanax like candy. My level of tolerance for Xanax at the time was totally not it. Like I could not handle it. So to me, it felt like I had took like a whole bag. But in actuality, I think it was like a total of 2, maybe like 2 and a small piece of Xanax. Regardless to any of that, your girl was like this. So I was looking crazy as hell. I step outside homeboy's house and I'm like trying to smoke me a cigarette. I go outside to smoke a cigarette and guess who I see? Casually riding a bike down the street. I see Manny. So I'm like, I know that's not Manny I see. But yeah, it was Manny. He's riding down the street with a fan. Lord, y'all, this is looking like real, true crackhead lifestyle. That's exactly what he was. That's exactly what I was at the time. Along with dopehead or dope fiend, whatever label that they call us, that's what we were at the time. Once again, kudos to me for getting out of that lifestyle. And you can too, if that's what you got going on. If you got a loved one out here that's struggling, they can get out of it too. Like it just take a whole lot of work. I go back inside and I tell homeboy, I'm like, I know I did not just see Manny ride the bike down the street. Homeboy like,
oh, for real? You ain't seen him in a minute, have you? Dang, did he speak to you? Dang, man, he really carrying you like that over Cindy, bruh. Over Cindy.
So, of course, I didn't want to hear that. I'm just looking like, I don't get it. How could he not be checking for me? How could he just leave me high and dry like that? Like, he ain't even send me nothing. He ain't leave me nothing. Like, what's going on? Not him doing me like that. Not me. I'm just confused, lost, don't understand. But at the same time, I can barely move a muscle. That's how I felt. I could barely move a muscle to even do anything about it. Next thing you know, I'm like, no. He's not going to just ride past me like he can't even speak. I think I might have said, yo, Manny. Kept on riding. So I'm really confused because that's like, he acted like I was completely irresistible. So I was confused, and I was like, no, I gotta get some answers. If you're gonna stop dealing with me, you're gonna at least give me some sort of explanation. Like, no. I grabbed my phone, I hit Manny up, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? So you just gonna ignore me like that? I think I said something like that. So I get a text back from Manny. Manny been ignoring the hell out of me, but I finally this time get a text back. And Manny's like, no, look, it's been so much going on. I really want to talk to you. I'm sorry that I've been ignoring you. Can you meet me at such and such? The same little area that we used to hang out, that Cindy lives at, that's right down the road from homeboy house that I was currently at. So he's like, can you meet me over there? Like, I just want to talk. I look at homeboy and I'm like, see, he want to talk. I'll be back, y'all. I'm about to go down there and see what he want. And if he talking crazy, I'm coming back. So, like, y'all don't lock me out. Don't dip. If you dip, hit my phone. Let me know. Blah, 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 blah. Homeboy's like, cool. And I get my black ass up. Probably stumbling all over the place. But I get up and I proceed to go to talk to Manny. However, I'm just like really stressed out at this time. I'm not feeling my best self. So guess what I do? I take another piece of this damn Xanax, a bigger piece than I was taking. I take another piece and I'm just like, man, whatever. I'm about to go down here and see what he's talking about. But you could already like tell that I was just not okay. Mentally, physically, emotionally, I was not okay. Word of advice, don't sit there and take a little bit of a drug, especially a drug that you're not used to taking, and feel like, oh, I'm not feeling it. It's not hitting me that hard. It's not doing enough. And you sit there and you just keep taking it, doing more. No. For one, I'm an advocate for quit drugs. Quit drugs altogether. It's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible. However, if you're going to do drugs, adding some random new drug that you're not used to doing, you're not used to doing it at that level, your body does not know, or your body does not have a tolerance for it, and therefore it can equate to something very, very bad. It can be horrible. It can be as bad as death. So that's just my little bit of word of advice. But let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the fight, you guys. Let's get to the fight. So I get my ass up and I walk down there, right? And as I'm walking, I get inside the neighborhood and I keep trucking. I went to where he told me via text message to go. I didn't see anyone. So I text him and I turned around. And I'm like, he playing with me. He playing with me. At this point, I'm super high off Xanax. I'm not even okay at this time. But I'm just like still trying to make my way. I probably was stumbling all over the place. Now that I think, but I probably was stumbling all over the place. I text him back and I'm just like, I don't see you. Where you at? No response for like maybe like a full minute. Like, you know, as you're standing, you're walking and you're texting, a couple seconds can feel like 3 hours. After a couple seconds, I text him again and I'm like, you know what? Never mind. I'm leaving. Almost immediately after I send that last text, I get a text back from Manny. And he's like, no, don't turn around. I'm right here by Keith. I'm gonna say Keith. I'm right here by Keith's house. So I'm like, okay, my baby is checking for me. Like, he's telling me don't leave, don't turn around. Like, let me go back and talk to my man. Like, let me go see what he's talking about. I turn my ass around. As I'm walking back towards Keith's house, right? Keith is not a real person, y'all. It's just a name I made up to describe whose house that we were meeting at. So as I'm walking towards Keith's house and I get closer and closer, and I get almost there, and I see a person waiting for me, which I automatically assumed was Manny. I get closer, y'all. Guess who was waiting for me? I'm gonna give you a second. It shouldn't be hard. Write in the comments right now if you know who was waiting for me. And I'm gonna give you a second so you can type it out. Did you guess it? Did you guess it correctly? Okay. 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 I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna tell him. That damn Cindy was the one waiting for me instead of Manny. It was Cindy. I don't know how this went. I don't know if originally it was actually Manny that sent me the text message, and maybe Cindy figured out what was going on and she decided, nah, you stay here. I'm ready to see this, you know what. I feel like that's how it went, because at first when I got to the location near Keith's house, no one was there. You know, so I feel like whatever plan Manny had originally, like probably just to tell me some sweet nothings and go back inside, I feel like that plan got messed up, and so he had no choice but to let her play along as himself and go meet me instead of him. It could have been Cindy all along. We're not going to rule that out either. It could have been Cindy all along, and whatever reason she wasn't there from the beginning, I don't know. Either way, it was Cindy this time. So I tried, when I noticed that it's Cindy, I try to turn myself around and walk the other way. For one, I didn't want no issues with Cindy. To me, I felt like if anybody had an issue, it should have been me with Manny, or it should have been Cindy with Manny. I don't feel like Cindy and myself should have had issues at all, because I was simply going by what Manny was saying. She clearly was going by what Manny was saying as well, because I found out later that she thought a whole nother scenario when it came to me and Manny. Like, she really thought that I was the problematic one. I knew about them from the very beginning. Apparently they were together the whole time. So it was just a bunch of different mixed up stories and lies. So I caught myself trying to turn around, and I wasn't trying to have any issues. I felt like she wasn't the person I was coming there to meet. It wasn't Manny. So let me just turn my little self around and go the other way. By this point, I knew that I was way too high for anything. Way too high. I just remember stumbling, falling. It was hot outside. It was summertime. It was the worst time to be caught up in a situation that could get physical. She's just like,
no, come here. Come here. It ain't all that. Just come here.
Why did I believe Cindy? Why did I believe Cindy? Cindy is invested way more than I am into this man. And think about it, if he was doing all of that for me, I'm actually taking away from what he was doing for her. So I should have looked at it with some sense, and I should have realized that any person that wasn't there for the right reasons anyway, they're going to be mad as hell that now somebody else has taken their place, or feels like they're going to continue to take their place. I should have considered all of that instead of thinking she's not going to be mad at me, she's gonna be mad with him, and we both should be mad at him, and we gonna plot to kick his ass like Powerpuff Rangers. What was I thinking? I definitely didn't think it was a fight. I'm thinking she want to talk, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. Okay, fine, we can talk. I walk over there. How did I come to the understanding that there was a fight about to happen? Because this is what y'all clicked on the video for. Y'all want to know about the fight. I don't remember exactly how I knew that it was about to be a fight. I'm not exactly sure. We walked up to one another. I see Manny walk out the house, and she's like, bitch, let's go. Like, that's she was letting me know that it was a fight, you know. But Manny walks out the house, and he stands behind her, and he's like,
yeah, don't be scared now.
Like, at that point, I'm completely not focused on her anymore. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, so that's what we doing now, Manny? That's where we at? You just gonna play? You gonna play with me? You gonna play with her? Like, oh, you just playing? You just playing with everybody? I'm looking at him saying that, and clearly I was playing with myself, because I mean, he had picked a side. Like, he was standing right beside her, like a little off to the back, but technically beside her. And he was just like he was one of the little females. It really confused me. Remind you, I'm high as hell. I'm like really high. I can barely stand up. I can barely realize and understand what's going on. Like, everything that's happening, I'm realizing it a second or 2 to 3 to 5 seconds later. Like, I'm just like, oh my God, this is really what's happening in front of me. So finally, she pushes me. I think that's how that started. I'm not 1000% sure, but I think that's how that started. We both put our hands up and we start swinging. I don't know how my swinging was looking, but what I can say is that next thing you know, after a couple swings from the both of us, we was locked like this. Like this.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, oh, yeah. I'ma whoop your ass, bitch. Oh, you wanna fuck my nigga, bitch.
I mean, just all this, like, talking. And at this point, like, I'm saying a little bit of stuff, but not really. Like, it's really her talking, and she's talking like she's big dog. Like, she's sitting there whooping my ass. Like, she's talking cash shit. We're like this. We're locked together like this. I feel like I know for a fact that she was in my arm like a chicken wing headlock, but I honestly think that I was in hers too. Like, I think we were both, they were headlocks. Like, I feel like her head was out like this is her face, and me with her, my head was out like this. Like, it's two different headlocks, but they were both headlocks nonetheless. But anyway, our bodies and our arms were twisted all up, and we were like locked together, but she was just talking so much shit, and it was to the point both of our arms were like occupied. So it wasn't like she had me like this and she pow pow pow. Like, it wasn't like she was doing that, you know, it wasn't that. But something was happening, but we were locked together, and it was not a whooping ass of anybody. Won't nobody whooping nobody ass. I see him, yeah, get her, get her. He tries to like pull her away from me, and I'm like pulling like this, and she's pulling, so we end up moving like kind of away from him a little bit. I just sit there and I'm like however I'm in a headlock or balled up or locked together or whatever, bodies intertwined, I just let out a big, because I knew in that moment that I had to do something. I had to get out of this lock. I had to like do, like, we were literally just like crabs, just locked together. There was nothing else happening, and I felt like I had to change that, and I had to get out of this situation and be done with it. I even collected some energy. We were sitting there so long locked together and nothing happening that I had even collected some energy. So boom, I decide when I take that, I knew I had a plan. I had a plan right then and there. I was going boom, like I was just going to throw both of us back. We were locked together. I couldn't get out of her lock. She couldn't get out of mine. I was going to throw both of us back. We're on dirt and rocks, like some shit of rocks, like a lot of rocks. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm just going to throw my body back, which is going to make her fall back as well. And then I'm going to get up. And then whatever happened after that, I don't even think I thought that far. I don't know what I had plans to do after that. I'm pretty sure something. I felt like maybe I was going to have the upper hand because I was the one doing the slamming. Here we go. I'm going in. Like, here we go. I'm about to do this. Okay. Boom. Both of us hit the ground. I throw us back, and we both hit the ground so damn hard, by the way. I scratched. I don't know if y'all can see it. Is it this side? I have a lot of scars on my back just from other things, but like this scar right here is from that incident. So regardless, like, I know I heard a lot of rumors after the fight, but the scar came from me slamming both of our bodies down on the rocks. True story, on me. Slammed both of our bodies on the ground, and I ended up slamming myself on this because I had her in the headlock and she had me in the headlock, so I didn't hurt my head or anything. When I slammed myself down, and her also, I think she probably hit her head or something, but my shoulder, it was such a big ass scab and blood and just ugh. It was all of that going on at the time. Remind you, I had Xanax, like lots of them in my pockets. I had old girl money from earlier in the day. Like, I don't know where any of that stuff went. When I woke up, I did have like a couple different Xanax left, but anyway, that's later on. So boom, we both on the ground, but I hit myself so hard that I didn't get up as fast as I liked. Neither did she. We were both just on the ground at this point. All of this is moving a lot faster. I'm explaining it in detail so it sounds slow, but in actuality, all of this is just moving so fast. It's moving so fast. So we're in the middle. It's like a trailer court. Like you got house, house, house on this side, house, 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 house on that side, or trailer, whatever. And then it's like dirt where people drive. So we're in the middle of the dirt, right? Manny ain't shit for this. Manny goes and picks old girl up while I'm still on my back. Remind you, this is the way I slammed myself, right? I'm still on my back. He goes and picks the girl up, picks Cindy up, and puts her like on top of me, so to speak. Like, not like laid her on top of me, but like basically trying to give her the upper hand. He kicks me. While he's placing her there, he kicks me. He went to punch me, but like I moved to the side or whatever. I think the most hits that we got out of this fight was in the beginning before we got locked up. Both of us were connecting at that point, right? He puts her on me, in front of me and on me. He kicks me. I think he grazed me a little bit. You know how somebody says like a bullet grazed the person, where it kind of like brushes up against them, but it's not a full on. That's what happened with his fist. But the kick definitely like got me. And it was two of them. It was one to my side. I don't know if it was like the side of my leg or something, but that one, and then one to my stomach. So at this point, I'm holding my stomach. Old girl is on top of me now. And I do what I know best, because she went to like, she squared up like, yeah, she about to hit me. So you know what I did? I did one of these. Boom. Kicked her right in her shit. Yes, I did. Kicked her. I don't know. I know one kick was like to the face, and one kick was like the rest of her. That was the one that like hit right here, because she bounced back and then she came back as if she was going to try to swing again. But you know what I did? I followed up with another one. Boom. This time it was all in her face. All in her face. So I kick her and got her up off of me. She's talking shit.
Yeah, da-da-da-da-da.
Remind you, I'm on my back on the ground. I'm on the ground. So she's over me. He's over me. They talking shit, but she's backing away.
Yeah.
She's like, I guess, like holding her head and holding her as if like, you know.
Yeah, bitch, I just whipped your ass and yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit.
And I'm backing away. Remind you, girl, you tired. I know you tired because I'm tired. And you just got kicked. Not once, but twice. And one of them was in your damn chin. I know you don't want no smoke. And it ain't even about that I could whoop your ass, because at this point, I'm pretty sure I could not. Let's be clear. I'm pretty sure I could not have won if she wanted to continue to fight. Let's be clear on that. However, there was no more fight. She was just as tired as I was. I'm thinking, she gonna whip my entire ass. I'm high as hell off of Xanax and whatever else. Because let's be clear, like I had did some heroin and Xanax, both downers. Like I had did a lot of that. I had even smoked me a little blunt. So I was so high. Whew, I was so high. So it was no reason why in any event I would have won that fight. I wouldn't have won that fight regardless. And I look at it like, in life, high or not high, you're going to win fights, you're going to lose fights. Maybe there's somebody that's Billy Badass out here that ain't never lost a fight. Kudos to you. To you. But me, on the other hand, I have definitely won quite a few fights, and I've also had a couple that I've lost, and I'm not afraid to say that. This isn't one of them, but I'm not afraid to say that. This would have been one that I would have lost if she actually wanted to fight. That's just what I feel. I could be wrong, because when we actually did fight, it was like we were locked up. So maybe that's not true. But who knows? Maybe once we were no longer locked up, maybe she would have hit me with a 1-2, 1-2 and, knocked my ass out. Who knows? That's how I see it happening. But it didn't get that far. Thank God. Like, it didn't get that far. However, boom, she's just like talking her shit.
You ain't shit. Yeah, look what happened to you. And da-da-da.
Mind you, I got blood leaking from me slamming myself on the ground. Like, if you understand common sense to a fight, unless she slammed me on the ground or something like that, this scar on my back would not have come from somebody else whooping my ass. Like, if that makes sense. if that makes sense. Like, I'm just saying that because, like, there was so many stories after the fact of what happened during that fight. And it was so far-fetched. It was so not accurate. It was so the wrong tea. Like, a lot of people that sip that tea, that was some bad tea. It was cold. It wasn't even tea. It was false information, y'all. But this is what really happened, and I have no reason to lie. Like, this is my story. This is my journey. This is the things that I went through in my life while I was struggling with addiction. And it's just to say that, like, some things that you go through, it will stick with you. Like, for instance, I'm having a really hard time getting rid of this scar. It's gotten much lighter. I make a body butter that works miracles. It's gotten much lighter, but it's not gone all the way. And so, yeah. So next thing you know, I see somebody coming down the road. I can't say street because it's like literally dirt and rocks. I see somebody walking down the road. It happens to be a different homeboy. Fast forward to today. Shout out to you. That's my baby daddy. Like, today, my youngest, it was his father that was coming down the road. But back then, he was just little youngin. He was just little youngin homeboy, little youngin. Yeah, that's it. So he's walking up. I was so high. I don't remember exactly what he said. I think he saw me picking myself off the ground or something. I don't know. But Cindy, Manny, they hopped in the house. They went on about their business. And I ended up walking towards, baby daddy was walking this way towards me, and I got my ass up and started walking this way towards him. We met like this, we turned around, and he walked me back. I want to say he walked me back to homeboy's house, but I'm not sure. He might have just walked me to the outskirts of the neighborhood. I'm not really sure because that's part of the part that starts getting like fuzzy and hazy to me. Like, I don't remember a lot of that. After me meeting up with him and walking away from the scene, all of it just becomes so fuzzy. And I know it's because all that stuff had kicked in. My adrenaline was rushing and I was just out of it. So that happened. I remember making it back to the homeboy house, whose house I was at from the very beginning. Before I even walked outside, smoked a cigarette, and saw little bitch ass Manny riding by. So I went back to that place. I just remember not having the money no more, telling them that, yeah, they tried to whoop my ass. And then that was another thing that was misconstrued. I never said that Manny, let me clear the air for that. I never said that Manny jumped me with that girl. But what I did say was that he did put his hands on me, put his feet on me, and put her on top of me. All of that is facts. All of that is facts. I have no reason to lie, but I'm not going to paint the picture like he sat there and just beat me up with her, because that's not how it went. But he definitely did what he did. That is what it is. And if anybody want to act like I'm wrong for being the victim in that situation when it comes to him, I really don't care. Like, that's your opinion. But at the end of the day, he helped that girl, which is the only thing I've ever proclaimed, is that he helped her. But if he had not been able to do that, I feel that I could have got up in time to have some type of upper hand. Granted, I was still like super high, so who knows how that would have went. But the point is, he definitely helped her. And that's just facts. Manny, if you out there, if you watch this video, you know what it is. Cindy, we did cross paths later on in life, and there was no beef. I hope it's still no beef. Like, I ain't got no issues with you, girl. But this is just the truth, okay? And that just goes back to reiterate, don't take nobody money, because I didn't have no answer. That girl ended up getting me from where I was at, the girl with the money that was coming back for me later. The only thing I remember is waking up on her couch. I am now at a whole different location and don't even remember anything. Thank God, like, she was very forgiving and understanding about the money. It was probably the blood. It was probably the blood from my scar that made everything full circle. And my homies, you know, vouching for me, like, yeah, she got into a fight and she was way beyond high as hell. She's a victim right now. Like, I'm sorry that your money ain't there, but she don't have it. Boom. Like, I'm sure all of that played a part. And plus, like, she knew that I was, like, pretty much trustworthy. So all of that together, it was just like, okay, that girl was helpful to me. So even though you don't have a name in this story, thank you. I appreciate you, because you got me away from all the chaos so that nothing else further could happen. Even though I didn't have your money, you made sure I was safe. When I woke up, you had food. You got me back home. I had to go to a wedding the next day. I was in the wedding. I had to sing at this wedding. And I was so scarred up, y'all. Like, it was just, my back was out. It was just embarrassing. I don't even think I have a picture from that day because I was in a horrible state at that point in my life. And I can smile about it now because there's life after addiction. I will never stop saying that. There is life after addiction, after the toxic relationships and the chaos, after starving your body and putting different substances in your body and putting yourself in different situations that could have been life-threatening or that were life-threatening. If you can get past that and still live, like, there's life after addiction. Recovery does exist. Those two things, I will never stop screaming. Anyway, I hope you guys like this story. If so, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell me if you like the story. Tell me if there's anything else that you guys want to hear from me in particular. Any particular topics, if you have any questions. Make sure you share this video with anybody. If it's your mama, your grandma, your coworker, your neighbor down the street, make sure you tell everybody about Portia on the Journey because I'm trying to blow up. I'm trying to get more people to see that there's life after addiction. That's the whole big picture. So make sure you share. And y'all, I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye. I'm not gonna ignore the baby, but y'all ignore the baby, and we gonna act like we don't hear those cute little baby sounds. How she's dealing with all these different guys. Boy, you could have failed. You could have failed. Mommy got you. Mommy got you. Okay. My son. Remind y'all, I had my oldest at the time. You are so determined to have all of my attention, and I get it. If I was you, I would want me too. And I can't live. I can't live without him, like, right there by my side. So anywho, rawr, what? I'm not even talking about dinosaurs or anything like that. You trying to be all on my channel, like you want to be seen so bad. Oh my god. Why do you want to be seen? It's because you know I'm on camera. Why you keep looking at the camera? Like, yeah, it's my YouTube. It's YouTube. Oh yeah, say YouTube. No, say YouTube. YouTube. Yeah, my YouTube channel. That's where we're on. That's crazy, right? Say, wow. Wow. So, no. Okay. You can't worry about my YouTube. No. No. Kale. Stop. Stop. Whoa. You okay? That's the good part of the story. I had to get help. That boy, he play too much. He do too much.